You ready?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm handing over to you.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. General, can I just put to you what reasons Minister Mkhunu will give when he appears? Of course, don't hold me to it. If he appears, he may add more or take away some that I'm aware of. But these are some of the reasons that I'm aware of. So I just want you to comment, really. As you like to say, I can't read into someone else's head or mind, but I'm just telling you what they were thinking. The one is that he received a number of WhatsApp complaints. Obviously, he was appointed in July 2024. So in the period between then and when he made his decision, he received some WhatsApp complaints. Apparently, these WhatsApps can no longer be retrieved or located because they're on some disappearing mode. I don't know, maybe you know about things like that in intelligence, but so that's the one, these complaints. And related to that is a complaint that we have discussed and which we showed you, although you weren't aware of it, is a letter written by Mary de Haas to the minister, and subsequently she's also written a complaint to the Portfolio Committee, to Parliament. Sorry.
Let me check with Honorable Malema if he's settled, so that we. Okay, thank you so much. You can proceed.
Thank you. Maybe let's just not overload you, General. Let's deal. The first one, I suppose, the WhatsApps, you can just shrug your shoulders, and if that's what he received, because I can't show them to you, and neither can he. But let's look at the other one, the de Haas letter. I think it's dated 24 October 2024, and a subsequent complaint to Parliament. She makes, if you can recall, just your perusal of the letter, the perusal of the letter, she complains about Khumalo. She complains about the manner and the way the political task team does their work, acting unlawfully, under lawful arrests, detentions. It really does badmouth the political killings task. General Mkhwanazi.
On the letter from
one of the reasons.
Yeah, Honourable Chair, honourable members, with respect, I don't know the person called Mary de Haas. I've never seen her, I've never met her. But for whatever reason, out of over 68 million people in this country, there are only certain individuals that get so much mileage in the public space that whatever they say, the whole country knows about it. And whatever they suggest, majority of the people in the country tend to believe it. I want to challenge and I want to request this ad hoc committee to invite Mary de Haas, not visually. If she's in a wheelchair, we'll bring her here. But she must come here and sit in the chair and repeat that which she wrote. And then allow the honorable members to ask her questions. I did not start at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, but I learned that she's an academician. And I'm disappointed if if I was a student of Mary Haas, if she was a lecturer, and she would have made me pass a certain qualification, I would begin asking myself whether is that qualification credible? Because you cannot be a researcher and you have someone sending you something and you believe it to be the fact and you go and communicate it out there as a researcher, if that's what she is. That's why I'm saying I don't know her. I'm beginning to question the institution that she works for. If she's indeed, because I heard that she's at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, the province I come from, which is a bit disturbing for me. Because, honorable chair members, with respect, I think Mary Haas is a desktop researcher, if any. That's all she does. I'm not a researcher myself, but I believe I can do better than what she's doing. She, at one stage, she accused General Khumalo to be the one behind the Cindy Somakatwa's murder. General Khumalo is the one that arrested the criminals. He's the one that arrested the mayor, Ndobe, of Mzimkhulu, who later was released by court and he committed suicide. He's the one that arrested the municipal manager. He's the one that arrested the convicted fellow now. He's the one who arrested everyone. But because Mary Haas is fed by a convicted person, because once you are convicted in crime, whatever you say tend to be questionable because you've already been found guilty by court. So a person who's found guilty by court sends information to Mary Haas and the honorable member of this parliament, Mr. Adams, and they believe that. It's just disturbing, very much disturbing. So I don't want to debate much what she's saying. I don't want to argue in terms of the letter that she wrote. But if the Minister of Police, Mr. Senzo Mkhunu, took the decision to write the letter of the 31st of December 2024, disestablishing the political killing task team, being informed by Mr. Mary Haas' complaint, then I'm going to challenge that perhaps the minister, with respect, might need to go and relearn how the manager. You do not do that. You arrive in an institution, you seek for briefing to be given to you, and you make your calculations about things. You then decide on the way forward. For the minister to come in his disposal, he doesn't bother engaging them, but he listens to people who are outside the institution to give him WhatsApps that are disappearing. I don't know who told him that the WhatsApp disappearing cannot be retrieved. Maybe we need to help the minister. The WhatsApp are disappearing, they cannot be retrieved. The letters of Mary influenced him and briefed him according to the reference letter that made him to reach a conclusion. You are briefed by anyone else other than the executive of this institution. And then you take a position, you believe this is the right position. So I'll perhaps go and get some training somewhere about management.
General, I just to round off on Mary Haas. I don't, of course, hold the brief for Mary Haas, but
Senior Counsel, I see Honorable Sangoni is
sorry.
raising a hand.
Thank you, Chair. I'm so sorry to disturb. Can we just be directed to where this letter is in the pack? That was my only intervention. Thank you.
It's not in the. But we can make it available if the honourable members request it. You can send it as early as this evening.
Yeah, you see, when you speak to the general, you say, can you please read it to the record? So even yourself, when you make reference to any evidentiary material, you must also put it on record so that the members can have access to it.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Malam.
So we agree that you can't take that line of questioning because we don't have what he's talking about. Because the conversation is going to be between him and the general. We are lost. It can't be correct that, remember, the SC is going to finish And then that document is going to be available to us tomorrow. We don't know on the basis of what is here, all the bundles that are here. If the SC wanted that to be part of line of
Questions, the general, he instructs him to read the material on record. And then once it is on record, questions will follow. So if you don't have that material now, SC, respectfully so, it will be unfair to the general to continue asking him questions on a material which is not before the committee.
Okay, as you please, I was just putting a version of another witness, of someone who's going to be called, what his reasons were and for his comments, but we can leave it there, Chair.
Yeah,
Because one of the other reasons was some work study, which again we don't. It's not part of the record up until now.
you see the other challenge that the members may have is that they do not have that statement of Minister Mkhwanazi now. And if we use it to ask the general questions, the day Minister Mkhwanazi comes here, members make reference to the answers that the general would have given or to the questions that you have fielded. And then he says, but at that time, I have not given you my signed statement, or at that time, you also did not have my statement. It may be problematic. So I am pleading that let's proceed in another line.
Maybe a suggestion, if I may, Chair, is the letter will be made available before tomorrow or tomorrow. So when honourable members have an opportunity to ask their questions, they can refer to the letter.
I don't have a problem with that. When we have it here, if, for instance, you say, give me 10 or 15 minutes of your time because we now have the material here, let me proceed with it. It's okay. I'm trying to avoid a situation where, remember, the members are taking notes and they must come and ask questions tomorrow. If they get lost, it's going to be difficult for them to contribute meaningfully. So let's just accept it that that piece of evidence is not available now. Do you make a commitment that it will be available tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, let's deal with it at that time when it's available.
We can leave it at that, Chair.
Yeah. Honorable Ngola, Honorable Sols.
Thank you very much. Not just in addition to this which has been said now. There is a letter or an affidavit that which the General says was written by the National Commissioner on the 4th of July to him as the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal. Understanding that the second witness is the National Commissioner, can that also be made available as part of the bundle so that we are able to Thank you, Chair.
Agreed. Honorable Sols.
Chair, a part of whose evidence will that letter be?
I beg yours, Honorable Member, I haven't heard you.
The letter that Senior Counsel is making reference to, we are dealing with the witness statement from General Mkhwanazi. The letter that senior counsel is referring to,
Or the letter from
someone has,
Meridi Haas.
yes.
Yeah.
A part of whose evidence is that letter?
Yeah.
Because we are dealing with General Mkhwanazi's witness statement. It's not part of General Mkhwanazi's witness statement. So whose evidence is that letter part of? It can't be an annexure to this either. Is the senior counsel now submitting his own evidence?
Did you hear the question, senior counsel? The honorable member is asking the letter from Meridi Haas, which is the basis of your questions to the defense that maybe the minister would possibly give. Who deposed that letter with you?
It's going to be or part of Minister Mkhunu's statement and that be dealt with in his evidence when he gives evidence to this committee. But we thought it prudent, and it was discussed with the General during our consultations, that we would also put the version of other witnesses who are still going to testify to him for his comment. That's the sole purpose. I'm not seeking to introduce the letter. In fact, the letter which we also don't have. The two was the Hahn letter. The third was budget, which we did discuss with him and which he's aware of. And the other one was a work study, which again, we don't have we have a copy and we have sight of it, but it's not annexed at the moment to any affidavits.
I understand where you are coming from, that you might have understood that General Mkhwanazi may not have time again with the committee to respond to whatever could be said in his absence. But ideally, if the members had a sworn statement from Minister Mkhunu, it was going to help them, because they will be understanding where your questions come from, to say, General Mkhwanazi, in your absence, the following may be said. And at that time, you may not have chance to answer for yourself. So, but in the absence of a sort statement from Minister Mkhunu, you become his advocate. In the absence of his statement, it becomes unfair to the general. And I don't know if, for instance, you do not have a copy of that statement which Minister Mkhunu would have made with you during the consultations. And I think that is exactly the point that members are raising, to say, we don't have those documents, and it becomes difficult for us to follow the proceedings in the absence of those documents. Can I take Honorable Sango and Honorable Sango and Honorable Sols, Honorable Paaliament?
Thank you, Chair. Unfortunately, I think this goes back to the question that I had asked on the procedure. I want to be sympathetic to the senior counsel to say that given the not be available to answer, he then took this approach. Really correct, nor is it fairer. And listening to the SC now, it seems like there is a lot more to the SC now. It seems like there is a lot more issues that he still wants to introduce, which do not form part of the general statement or our bundle. And that is why I had asked, are we getting supplementary affidavits from the general? Because had we done that, then we would have all these other issues that he was requested to answer. Then it's an exercise in futility, because we would not be able to engage with that. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Souls.
Chair, the assumption would then that this letter that we are talking about has been a consultation with the minister. A consultation that we have not been a part of. A consultation that the documents we have not seen. Senior Council extracts one letter out of the entire consultation and deems it necessary to be asked here when we are dealing with what General Mkhwanazi has submitted. It is a material wrong, Chair. Even if we get that letter later, that letter forms part when we must deal with that issue.
Honorable Malema.
Chair, we've been observing and we thought we must not interrupt this, but where there is material crisis, we need to intervene. Evidence leader. This is General Mkhwanazi. You lead him on that instead of leading him. If they had a discussion with General Mkhwanazi, they should have put that in this package and lead him on that. And when you lead him on that, you make reference, go to annex to what. Are you there, General? What is your take on this matter? Not wanting to shock him in the process and shock all of us, and then still be an evidence leader. I think you captured it correctly when you say the SC now becomes the advocate, that the minister is going to come here and say 1, 2, 3. Let's lead General with what we have before us, which they have accepted that it's enough for him to come and answer questions here, and not talk about things that are not before us, and tomorrow they don't even come. So please, let's leave that line of questioning and let's proceed.
Yeah. Honorable Skosar.
Thank you, Chair.
Sir.
Thank you, Chair. You know, I thought we were back. We are going to flow, and it's unfortunate that it appears now that our evidence leader is bringing something which we don't have as members. And General Mkhwanazi doesn't have as well. And it's quite disturbing that our evidence leader looks like now he's defending the minister who's suspended or who's on special leave here in his absence. I think it will be fair if there's any information, let's have this information too. Like my colleague is saying that it's like now it's an advocate for the minister, and it's not fair, Chair. Let's be beyond reproach. Even if there's other things, please, but let's try to avoid them. The suspended minister is not here, and we don't have, hence we agreed as a committee to have the General Mkhwanazi to appear first before anyone here. But we never anticipated this. And honestly speaking, Chair, we don't want to be a laughing stock of this nation. We can't allow this thing to really going on with impunity and unabated here. It's unfortunate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Senior Counsel, do you want to say something?
No, thank you, Chair. But I'll proceed on to the next topic.
Yeah, but let me say this to you. When we came back at 3 o'clock up until the time we broke for dinner, we did very well. Your work has been very impressive. And I want to say to you that sometimes even the best defenders score own goals. But the moment of conceding an own goal must not take your quality away from you. Raise your head and face the next game. let's proceed.
Sorry that I'm performing like my team, but maybe I'll support another team tomorrow. Sorry, yeah. May I proceed on to the next topic?
Yes.
Thank you. General, again, sorry about that. Can we go to the meeting that was held before the Portfolio Committee on the 5th of March? You deal with it at, it's at paragraph, or at page 22 to 26 of your affidavit. You'll see on page 22, paragraph 44, the background and status of the political killings task team was on the agenda. Details of your interview, which we've already touched on Police Day 2025. That was in January, was it 27, 25 January? So in that meeting, if I may direct your attention to paragraph 48, where you say, I also took the opportunity to address the committee and raise concerns that I had regarding a close associate of the minister, Mr. Mkhwanazi, who, although outside of the SAPS, was in possession of confidential information relevant to the SAPS. My exact comments are as follows, and the quote is on page 23 and 20 and in 24 and ends at 25. You recall those comments?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you want to comment?
Yeah, well,
You can look at your affidavit at paragraph 49 and 50 and 50. Yeah, the 51, which is on page 26.
I'm not sure if I follow you. See, what I presented or the response from the minister, the paragraph you're referring to is 49.
Well, what you said, and perhaps an opportunity if you want to elaborate or expand or explain, then feel free. Minister's response during that meeting and his response subsequently.
Yeah, but perhaps Chairperson and honorable members, if I were to summarize here, when we appeared before the Portfolio Committee on the 5th of March 2025, a presentation that I made verbally, which I think ran just over 40 minutes, I was raising issues that were dominating in the media space, honorable Chair and members. The incidents that seems to paint a negative picture towards the organization, and in the main, focusing at crime intelligence. There were some also negative things that were directed at individuals within the South African Police Service, including myself, that I was talking about. So I narrated in details in terms of what got into the media space that came from the incident of a correctional service in KZN, and what came to the space with regard to the incidents that are happening in investigations that have been dealt with by the team in Gauteng. But more importantly, Commissioner, Chair, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, I wanted to bring to the attention of the Portfolio Committee the involvement of someone who's not a police officer on the matters of the police, on the affairs of the SAPS, and that was Mr. Mkhwanazi. And I narrated in terms of how he came to be known by myself and what I since learned about his involvement in the business of the SAPS. And I presented that in the presence of the executive of the police, from the minister, deputy ministers, as well as the National Commission, before the Parliament. So it was my hope that when we are presenting such, that there is someone who's not a police officer that has got access to police things, sensitive things, that the attendees in the meeting are going to take that serious going forward. And when I also spoke on that meeting, I made mention of the bad things that were happening at crime intelligence, according to my experience, that happened in 2011, 2012, it drew parallel to what was happening then as compared to what is happening now. That beside the National Commission had made his opening statement on the very same meeting on the 5th, where he mentioned that when we are trying to deal with the bad ones at crime intelligence, those that are so used to benefit illegally within the resources of the state at crime intelligence, and the only way to counter the action that the management is taking against them is to invite the media and invite the so-called whistleblowers, invite the people that are very vocal and have got a lot of followers out there, including some journalists, to start spreading lies. And unfortunately, the lies that have been spread, the members that's supposed to pause and investigate, they don't do that, they believe it. And when they believe it, it then damages the institution as a whole. So I wanted to indicate that, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, that we have experienced this in 2011, and it's happening again now. We should ask ourselves a question as to why is it happening? Something must be done. For my response then to be addressed in a manner that the minister responded by simply saying, I'm no associate to the person that John Mkhwanazi is referring to, and it ends there. It was rather disappointing. Because I'm presenting evidence that says he is a man who talks about police secret things. He sends me WhatsApp. In his WhatsApp, he attaches presentations of crime intelligence. And he tells me about General Khans that are in meetings, that I must ask them for further details of presentations. And then you ask yourself, but we have General Khans in crime intelligence that are part of meetings. Why a person is not in the police has that information? It simply says, someone in the meeting is sharing this information to a person outside the meeting. So it was a worry. So that's what I can summarize here, that bringing to the attention of the portfolio committee was to trigger an action that, although it was not in presentation form, on black and white, submitted to the portfolio committee, but it was to trigger the further interrogation of these allegations that I'm making. But I must say, maybe it happened, I don't know. I was never invited after that to date until, well, the 6th of July. I must say, Honorable Chair and members, I'm glad we did that on the 6th of July because we're invited here now to elaborate more on this, which I thought we would have done it on the 5th of March.
So in paragraph 51.1, you provide further investigations and analysis of data downloaded from Mr. Matlala's cell phone, point to a deeper association between Mr. Mkhwanazi and Minister Mkhwanazi, an association the Minister had at first categorically denied at the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee meeting on the 5th of March. You confirm that?
Yes, I confirm.
And then at the second subparagraph, through a series of WhatsApp conversations between Matlala and Mkhwanazi, around the time the Minister issued his directive to the National 2024, the only reasonable inference that can be drawn is that Mkhwanazi and Matlala were aware of the Minister's directive, which amongst others aimed to disband the PKTT immediately.
That's correct.
So that is an inference that you draw, which you say is reasonable in the circumstances when you put the WhatsApp conversations together with the directive of 31 December 2024. That right?
That is correct.
Okay. Then, if I may just also, in terms of, this is still on the meeting of the 5th of March, the Annexure General and Honourable Members is NSM 7, it's pages 82 to 222. It's the transcript of the Portfolio Committee meeting. And I want to ask you to turn to page, it's 217 of the paginated bundle, the one on the right top, or page 133 of the actual transcript. You got it? If you see there at the middle of the page, you say, so Chair, I don't want to be long, but I want to indicate that I've been there before and we've been there before. That's why even to date, the National Commissioner and myself, General Khumalo, had once. It was no surprise, Honourable Chair and members, when I heard from media asking me about the letter to withdraw. That must be the task team. I just laughed it off because Section 207 gives me a mandate and the responsibility to do policing in the province. And then you talk about the interference, and then you said you phoned the National Commissioner who was on leave at the time. So General, I just want to pointing this out to you, and I'm just asking for your comment because this is on the 5th of March. You make these allegations against the minister. You spoke earlier, and General Khumalo spoke earlier about the political task team, and here you raise what are clearly red flags. What did you expect the Portfolio Committee or Parliament to do anything about it when you said these things before the committee?
Honourable Chair and members, as I said again, when we appear before the Portfolio Committee, we wanted to bring to attention of our leaders, the leaders of government, that things are not well within crime intelligence. Things happened in 2011 that we know of. Myself, the National Commissioner, General Khumalo, were exposed to that. We became victims as a result. Similar things are happening now while we are still in the organization and holding this position, but nothing is happening. So we are bringing it to attention of the Portfolio Committee for them to know, take note of this, and hopefully do something about it. Obviously, you can't tell the Portfolio Committee what to do, but the mere fact that the National Commission made the remarks at the beginning, I make the similar remarks, it should concern a leader. You say is that you can't have two senior officers in the South African Police Service talking about the problems within the space, and we don't invite them exactly. If they are able to deal with it, why not? So that we get to know, but nothing happens. And instead, we see some of the members of the same Portfolio Committee participating in the very same deficiencies that we are complaining about. That was a concern.
So would it be fair to say that given what appears to be a lack of response or failure to respond to what one can call your pleas at that meeting on the 5th of March, there was your letter to the minister, or rather your WhatsApp to the minister, 4th of April, there was the awards day in late January, where you also expressed a lot of frustration. Did all that inform your decision to do the media briefing on the 6th of July?
Yeah, that's correct. When you go to the different structures of government, one, you are frustrated within the legal system, which the judiciary seems to be playing a role. Yes, I did not escalate this personally myself to the Chief Justice within judiciary to the complaint, although there were some other complaints that were leveled against some of the presiding officers in different areas where they're working. But I tried to reach out to the executive authority, which is another arm of government, through the National Commission, to plead with the National Commission to approach the president about this. And nothing seems to be working. And one then approaches the last part of leg of government, which is Parliament, through the portfolio committee. You talk about things of concern that are happening within the space in the presence of the executive authority. But it just pours a cold water on it, and nothing happened. So once you realize that, okay, that means almost everywhere you're trying, nothing seems to work, then tell the people that placed you and put their trust on you about the challenges that you're experiencing. And those are South Africans. And it is the South Africans, I believe, that brought me to sit here today, and all of us. Had we not done that, we wouldn't be here.
So the 6th of July was a last resort.
That was the last one.
Thank you. There's just two aspects I want to deal with. Let me deal with the last one first, because the other one may somewhat controversial. Can I ask you to look at, we asked you to give some forward-looking, or to propose some forward-looking measures to strengthen the police service, which is part of our terms of reference, or the committee's terms of reference. Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, it's at page 31 and 32 of the General's affidavit, at paragraph 65, 65.1 through to 65.5. Honourable Chair, the affidavit is obviously part of the record. Can I ask, General, is there anything specific that you want to comment on or highlight in any of these measures and recommendations which appear from 65.1 to 65.5?
Yeah, well, I think everything is there as it stands, but maybe as an addition, although not written here, I hope that the ad hoc committee, through the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, task the state security of this country to conduct a thorough counterintelligence investigation on the role of the media in this country, and specifically specific journalists that are working. Most of them, I've seen they're publishing, as I said, it's not a media house, but journalists. Some of them, they write for, I think, Sunday Times or City Press, one of those newspapers. But I know some of them write for News 24. Inspector General of Intelligence, it's supposed to be confined to the Minister of the Environment responsible, and it's supposed to be confined to the committee, the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. But in these few days back, that report was published by News 24 journalist. It's a classified document, and that talks about properties within the secret service account So the question is, how does a journalist get hold of such? Who then gave the journalist that? I'm using this as an example. It's not the only one. There's a number of them. A number of them. When a member of the portfolio committee on police says openly in public that while he's sitting in his office, whatever, there's a magic paper that appears underneath his door, classified document, and that leads him into go and open a case. It needs to be investigated, Honorable Chair, honorable members, because the records, the control register at the Office of the Inspector General of Intelligence will prove that the Office of the Inspector General of Intelligence has been an operational center that has been used to counter this criminal investigation happening in Gauteng. The control register in that office for people to come in and out will give evidence of people that have been visiting that office, including the honorable member, Mr. Adams, who traveled there. The member in the Office of the Inspector General of Intelligence, Advocate Governor, should be invited, Honorable Chair, to come before this ad hoc committee, if I were to recommend, where she's going to come and tell you about the experience and the horrible things happening in that office. That the member, Mr. Adams, is the one who came with a classified document and presented it before the Inspector General of Intelligence to request Inspector General of Intelligence to conduct investigations on things. The members of IDEC have been frequenting the Office of the Inspector General of Intelligence, where things were plotted against these members of crime intelligence. So it's an experience we had with the late former advocate Hadebe, who was an Inspector General of Intelligence 2011-2012, of how that office has been manipulated. These which are referenced to on the 5th of March during my appearance. The similar things are happening today. Crime intelligence has been doing a lot of bad things, and the bad things are brought to the attention of the Inspector General of Intelligence and supposed to end up with the Joint Standing Committee so the people are held accountable for the wrong. Honorable Chair, honorable members, people will say Mkhwanazi is very insensitive, but when we talk the honest truth, we must tell the truth. The country was in pain to listen to how much of money was spent at the former president's house, homestead, at Ingatla, because there was an accountability that was happening at the time. But this government has never paid attention on the amount of expenditure that was incurred by crime intelligence over years. Interrogate that within the Secret Service account. The misuse of the Secret Service account. Obviously, the Joint Standing Committee is supposed to do that. It's disturbing when reports supposed to be presented to such structures to hold people accountable. Nothing happens to it. We are sitting today, the country is in mourning because we lost one of our ambassadors in France. But that ambassador was a minister of police. As you switch on the television and you watch the homestead of the former minister of police, you're going to see a very big wall, perimeter wall, that was built by the money from crime intelligence. But nobody was held accountable for such, and the reports are there. So, 2011, we're experiencing all these things. It's members from crime intelligence that takes the money out of crime intelligence to use them to take control of the executive authority. The minister never asked for the wall. The members from crime intelligence took the money secret fund account to make that wall so they can get control of the minister. So tomorrow they can then loot that money on their own. Then the minister can't say anything. It's the same thing bringing us here today. Minister of Police, Minister Mkhwanazi, was made to sign a letter by the raw people within the organization. They might have done something to him. He signs a letter, he committed himself, and today he's in trouble because of that. He did not sign that letter, he would not have been here. So some of the executive officials or authorities that are arriving in the South African Police Service, they had no bad intentions. But the rogue within catches them. They take control of them and they do as they please after that. So as one of the things that I will recommend, Honorable Chair, defense intelligence state security does not account to the open committees in Parliament. Perhaps we might want to start looking as Parliament on crime intelligence. They've got two accounts of budget that's allocated to them, open budget and the COVID budget. Every time when we come to Parliament, there's always this confusion as to what you say on this, what you don't say on that. Because there are questions that are coming from Parliament that talks about COVID issues that should be discussed in another committee, but they are expected to be discussed in this open committee. You can forgive some of the board. They throw questions and they want you to explain that. They don't know that belongs in another committee. Although you have members of the portfolio committee of police who deliberately, knowing, having taken an oath, that they will never divulge the secrets of the state in public. Members that are part of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence who are supposed to keep the secrets there. And if they ask questions, they must ask in that line. They don't ask questions. I mean, if I digress a bit, Commissioner, honorable members, the member of Parliament that I referred to before went out in the public and said, no, when I asked these questions, there was no Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. And the member asked me to apologize in the national TV. I told everyone else that told me about that I will apologize to the honorable member. I'm apologizing that the honorable member had forgotten the oath that she took. I apologize for it. That she took an oath. That oath has got an expiry date according to her. That this one is valid only for the period when the Joint Standing Committee exists. When a Joint Standing Committee doesn't exist, that oath that she took, it expires. The honorable member that forget that she took an oath before South Africans in Parliament not to divulge the secret of government. And she forgot about the oath. I apologize for that. That she forgot that oath. And she asked the questions in February and the likes. But I must also apologize that the honorable member forgot that in April, May this year, she took an oath as a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. But she still comes to the Portfolio Committee of Police and asks questions about the secret fund account. 3 questions that the police had to respond to her and say, sorry ma'am, this does not belong here. The chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Police knows that because I did share with him. This I shared because she denied the initial statement. Then I wanted to prove that it didn't only end there. I only made reference to some few things, not all. So there are many examples, Honorable Chair and members, that one can put, but amongst these recommendations that are put in here, one of them that maybe I didn't write, whether is it necessary for crime intelligence to account in an open committee? Perhaps that's where the problem comes from. Because state security don't hear much about this. Not to say things are hunky-dory that side. Defense intelligence don't hear anything about this. But crime intelligence always in the middle. Why? It's because you have a portfolio committee of police that holds them accountable. So perhaps the budget must just be moved covertly, all of it, so that it goes to one committee, Joint Standing Committee, being handled there. Whether good or bad, but it's regarded as a covert fund completely. So that is one of the addition if you were to include Honorable Chair and Honorable Members on these recommendations. But maybe to narrate on some of those that are here, Honorable Chair and Members, I had requested on the first one that the South African Police Service senior management, and I hope the honorable members know where the senior managers in the police start from, is brigadiers and higher. Once you become a brigadier and higher, at least there must be a lifestyle audit that is conducted to all of us, and it must not be a once-off thing. And it must not be done by the police. The committee might want to find an independent entity to do that, and the report be given to a chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, and then it can be elevated to Parliament. But basically, the employment condition of a police officer needs to be conditional. It cannot be just a permanent thing. You come in, you work until you retire at 60, whether you are delivering or not delivering, whether you are rogue or not rogue, you just enjoy your salary every single day. We have to review that. So lifestyle audit is what I'm calling for. We all must be subjected to that, so that you get to understand, where does Mkhwanazi get the money to buy the suit? Can he afford it? And many other things that we have as police management. And I would also request that perhaps the committee, ad hoc committee through Parliament, really look at the vetting process or the employment condition in the police, because I don't know if all members knows the levels of vetting. You have confidential things, you have secret things, you have top secret, and those different levels. It is a given thing to say everyone must be given a top secret, and I don't think it's classified. What is it that this country regards as a top secret? And therefore, who must have access to it? Because the moment you regard something as a top secret, it means it's something that if you reveal that to the public, it's got a potential of undermining the security of the state. It must be highest level of order that you can get, top secret. So it can't be everyone that gets it. When you come and look at the police, how many people that were expected to get top secret, some of them you really ask yourself a question, is it necessary? Does this person really have to get into the top secret? There's no classification, categorization of this a post level, a post that the person is occupying, and what type of classification must be there. So I think there's a standard that needs to be set. And this vetting to be done prior to the employment of a person. Honorable Chair members, I like what SIU is doing. They vet people coming in, and if they pick up something in between, they're subjected to vetting again. So their risk management in terms of corruption is a little bit better than ours as a South African Police Service. So we might want to learn something from what they do and also adopt the same. So I'm going to invite that perhaps the members assist in terms of reviewing the employment condition of police officers. In the legislation, the DPCI legislation was amended to say any member of the Hawks that comes in must go through this process. People like myself, I'm not subjected to that. In a matter of fact, Honorable Chair and Honorable members, majority of us don't even have those secret clearance certificates. The reason being, there's manipulation in the police. The people that are controlling this vetting, they will make sure they don't give it to you. For whatever reason, they will hold it back. So you then have the security clearance certificate that valid for 5 years. After 5 years, it expires. You subject yourself for another one, and it takes another 3-4 years before they give you a certificate. By the time they give you a certificate, you're supposed to be going for the third assessment. And so there's no consistency in terms of how we're doing it as a South African Police Service. That's why I'm calling for independent body somewhere to come and do this vetting in the police, so that we can mitigate the manipulation of the process, and also to include it in the legislation as a part of the employment condition of police officers. On 655, Honorable Chair and members, you'll forgive me on this one, but as I've worked most of my life as part of the operator in the task force, crowd management, as well as in different environments that I work for in the police. When you plan for an operation, you need to identify a risk and put plans in place. You cannot go and target, go to a specific target without identifying what risk. There could be a river that takes you there. So you must know how to cross that river. There could be dogs in there. You must know how to neutralize those dogs before you get to your target inside. When you go into a building, you might find the building, there's a lot of, you're looking for drugs inside. There are a lot of pipes in around that building. You don't secure those pipes. They're going to flush everything down the pipe. By the time you get in the building, you get nothing. Those are the risks that you have to put in place, risk management to put in place. We are coming from the old days. I'm not saying that we must copy what is there in the old days, but before the ACPS became a service, it was a force. It was ACP without a S. But the ACP was a government entity that was assisted by the Homeland Security. So we had different policing agencies in the country that were running. All these police agencies merged in 1995, and they formed this, what we refer to now as South African Police Service. And in merging all this fragmentation that was there on Homeland, which was allowing some control to some degree to be managed at different areas, be it Northwest, be it Limpopo, be it Eastern Cape, KZN, and so forth. There was some level of control over the law enforcement in those regions. When we merged in 1995, we got rid of that. We put everything together, and then we changed the constitution. We said one cabinet member is the boss, and one man or woman as a national commission is a boss. And we ended it there. Then we'll say then the provincial commission will be appointed by this one person in charge. So we've put so much powers over one person. The National Commission of the Police has got so much powers in the country. So much powers. That's why there was a plan of removing the National Commissioner now, so they put someone else. Because the person has so much powers, he can launch any case against anyone if he wants to. So to mitigate that, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, we really might need to revisit that section of the Constitution and ask ourselves the question. In 1994, when we came together, the population of the country was not this big. When we came together and we joined these 11 agencies together to form the SAPS, the numbers of the members in the organization were not this big. We have doubled the number. We are close to 200,000 employees. It's the biggest government department that is controlled by one person. Budget is billions of rand that are allocated to the SAPS. This is an institution that has got a responsibility over the lives of more than 100 million people, because we say in the Constitution, South Africa belongs to all those who live in it. So you count the 68 million South Africans, you count the foreign nationals that are here legally, and those that are illegally in the country. It belongs to all of them. The police must provide safety on them. So when you look at this, it's a responsibility given to one individual. And one way or another, there's going to be cracks. The controls are not going to be intact. A national commissioner comes up almost every 5 years. He arrives in, he comes up with a different strategy, he changes the structure. And the structure gets implemented halfway in his contract. And just before you acclimatize to the new structure, his contract ends, another one comes in. And they start afresh, the restructuring. We've been restructuring, Honorable Chair and members, ever since I could remember. Because there's a new boss, new sheriff in town, he changes the structure, new sheriff in town changes the structure. So we might want to really look at that section of the Constitution that says we are centralized at the national office, to figure out, taking examples from first world countries, how can we come up with a model that is going to allow the national, call it federal if you will, but the national priority crimes or national capacity that is going to have a footprint across the country to deal with specific crimes. And then you allow the provinces to some degree to prosecute certain, investigate and finalize certain cases within their level. And then don't hold the National Commission to be worried about the prosecution of an assault case that happened here at Gugulethu. Because the National Commission must account for this assault at Gugulethu from Pretoria. But you have a provincial commissioner that can take responsibility for that. And the provincial government that is voted by the people in this province that must account on the policing. So you find this gray area. That's why you're going to notice, honorable members, every time we release crime stats, some provinces have their own crime stats release, others don't. Because there's no standard set. The other provinces feel that they must take responsibility for policing. The others say policing is a national responsibility, it's not ours. And yet the crime happens in those communities. So it is just my small recommendation. I'm not a member of parliament. I don't have authority over amending the constitution. I felt that maybe I must put this recommendation, controversial or however we can call it, but we were there before. We had Homeland Security, and we won't be the first one in the world to try and decentralize somehow. There are many institutions in different countries that are operating like that. But that is only informed by the risk management because of what I've seen, what's happening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, General, the last topic you have already touched on, and these are allegations pertaining to members of parliament, which you deal with at paragraph 53, and more specifically in relation to Ms. Diane Kohler-Barnard from paragraphs 54 onwards, and it goes through to paragraph 60.3 on page 30.
Yes, sir. Those are the matters that I was referring to, which is why maybe if the honorable members will go to the annexures on the documents and you start reading from NSM 13, 14, and 15 on number 238, 239, and 240 respectively.
Right.
You're going to see on the annexure, the annexure number is written at the top corner. It's written 238, top right corner. Is NSM 13. Yes, towards the end of the annexation. Honorable Chair and honorable members, I want to give this as a classic example. That's why I was apologizing on behalf of Ms. Kohler-Barnard that she had asked me in public that I must apologize. That she forgot that she was a member of the Portfolio Standing Committee of Intelligence, therefore she should have known about this. On 238 NSM 13, there was a question from Parliament that was talking about the procurement of properties within the South African Police Service crime intelligence. And the response to this question was that this matter must be referred to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence, which has an oversight responsibility over intelligence. That is one. If we move to the next page, and that one, question number 2326 that came from Parliament in February, on the 14th of February. The second question, honorable members, on 239 and NSM 14, question 3617. This question was asked in June this year. And in June this year, Ms. Kohler-Barnard was sworn in as a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. She asked this question. And yes, she wanted to know about the investigation report that was undertaken by Inspector General of Intelligence. I don't want to say this perhaps is that report that ended up being spoken about by News 24, but here's a question in Parliament asking about the report, and News 24 writes about that report. They put the report out publicly. So she was asking about this report, whether the minister will finish her with a copy of this IG report and the findings thereof, and whether the report and findings implicated senior SAPS officials in any suspected criminal activity, and whether SAPS members are currently under criminal investigation in relation to the specific matter. Again, the response on this by the National Commission was that it is recommended the question be referred to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence as it relates to the sensitive matters that are dealt with by the JCI as the Parliamentary Oversight Committee of the country's intelligence services. I invite you to another question, Honorable Chair and honorable members. The question number 3409, the same question that came from Ms. Kohler-Barnard. These questions were written to the police as part of the Portfolio Committee of Police, which is dealing with open account. And these questions are asked by the person who's already taken an oath at the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, but she's asking in the wrong committee about this. Exactly what I had said at Madlanga, that she took things that belong somewhere else and she put it somewhere else. So these are the evidence. Honorable Chair, honorable members, this question 3409 is asking specifically about the buildings that crime intelligence have purchased. And she wants to know the details about that. And the period that she's referring to is a period when Jaro Kumalo was in the office, which is a 2023-2024 financial year, and the years subsequent to that. And she asked whether the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure was approached about using buildings which are already owned by the state. And she also wanted to know where the building is going to be used for. She wants to know, through the open committee, what is Crime Intelligence going to use these buildings for in each province. The response again, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, from the National Commissioner, which is dated the 28th of June, just a week before my public address, that given that the question relates to sensitive matters, it is recommended that this matter be referred to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence, the Parliamentary Oversight Board in respect of all intelligence services, including the Crime Intelligence Division of the South African Police Service. Honorable Chair and honorable members, this is just but, I repeat, this is just but an examples of the things that we're putting before you. There's other evidence that we have in our disposal that we don't think is necessary to put them here because they belong to the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. I've said it before, that examples we're going to cite a few. We cite example, the member goes to the media and challenges us, and we have to then provide further examples. Honorable Chair and honorable members, I've said it before when I presented at the commission, which is my statement is a reference to, that crime intelligence have got their own ways of operations that don't 100% conform to the norm that we all know and understand. How they acquire a facility, they do not acquire a facility through public works. And Honorable Kona Barnett knows that because she's been in this committee for that long. The crime intelligence have been leasing buildings as safe houses. They've been leasing properties. And some of these properties, Honorable Chair and members, and I'm not inviting you to go deeper to finding out because it's not within your space, it's within the Joint Standing Committee. But you will be shocked of some of these properties that we've been leasing as a South African Police Service, Crime Intelligence. Who do they belong to, number one? And whether they are used for what they are leased for. In government in general, the lease of a facility, it's a public works responsibility. But Crime Intelligence has been leasing buildings from as far back as I could remember. And there's never been issues about that. The matter of fact, Honorable Chair and members, some of the members within Crime Intelligence have benefited from the leasing of their own facilities to Crime Intelligence. The same members that are feeding the members of Parliament as if the purchase of this property is irregular. I've said it before, I don't work at Crime Intelligence. If the purchase of properties is irregular, then definitely the head of Crime Intelligence and the National Commission must be held accountable. If they broke the law, they must be held accountable. But hold them accountable on the correct structure of government. Don't misplace it. Don't go to the media and talk about it and grandstand about it. Take it to the Joint Standing Committee and say, I demand that there must be accountability here because this is done wrong. And then for sure, that action is going to be taken. But if you're going to take it out of that structure into another platform, and you make allegations that are unfounded about the members of Crime Intelligence, the risk with that, which I repeat before this committee, is that the members of Crime Intelligence are going to be forced to defend themselves. And the only best way to defend themselves is to speak the truth. And when they come with the truth, majority of you will not be able to stomach it. This country is going to burn. Because there are top secret things that should not be discussed in public life. So if you make the members look bad, they're going to counter the human beings. They've got families, they've got friends. They've been paraded as criminals in front of international TV. They were paraded when they were arrested. They were branded as bad people by these members of this committee, of this parliament, some of them. They kept quiet. But they know the truth. They have evidence, Honorable Chair, conventional or otherwise that they have, which if they were to present it, it would be a press briefing that would be worse than what Mkhwanazi did. So I needed to prevent that by warning that let's not hold back and allow that the very same executive authorities, parliamentarians, participate in the wrong. Honorable Chair, if you were to ask me, I will say maybe we must close down crime intelligence, remove everyone that is there, and start afresh, if you will. Because I know names within crime intelligence that are bad. They were there in 2011. They are still there today. We have family members of the Mkhwanazi of this world that are still controlling gadgets that are listening to all of you at crime intelligence. And that's what Kumar is trying to fix. What does he get in return? No, leave this thing alone. You are the bad one. And other members are comfortable because, not going to talk about benefits that comes with it. So Honorable Chair, members, you'll forgive me, but I feel that these things that we've put on this statement is just a tip of the iceberg. Go to the media tomorrow, Honorable Member, and say things again. I'm going to come with another evidence. Yes, my submission.
Thank you. Thank you very much, General Mkhwanazi. Again, sorry for the delayed start and for the long session that you've had to endure for the day. And we thank you very much again for your evidence, for your cooperation. Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable members.
I want to give the General 10 minutes to repeat the last part that I was looking at your faces when he was presenting the last part. But okay, it's fine. Honorable members, let me check before I thank the senior counsel and the general. I want to check with you, honorable members. Are there any hands? Chief Whip. Okay, let me do this. From the NCs, it's that hand. MKP, do you want to speak?
Yes.
How many of you? One. One. Okay. DA? You don't. EFF? IFP? Must I note you? Okay. Because I see it's like the hand. A PA?
Chair, thanks.
Oh, okay. So we have those four hands, honorable members. There is not going to be any member who's going to be triggered by what others would have said. The Chief Whip, Honorable Skosana. Is it Skosana or Yonombala? Okay. And then Honorable Mwango. Yeah, it's 3 in fact instead of 4. Can we take them in that order? Can we start, Chief Whip?
No, thanks, Chair. I think I'm not going to do what is supposed to be done by you to thank anyone in this meeting today. But I think that in the light of the concluding statement that the General has made, I think that a matter naturally arises, which we've discussed in one of our meetings, about the fact that as the ad hoc committee, as members of the ad hoc committee, one of the important things that we have to safeguard and do so jealously is the integrity and the reputation of the ad hoc committee of Parliament. We recognize the fact that we did not establish ourselves. We were forwarded in this committee by the parties that we represent in Parliament, and therefore, as a consequence of which, constituted into the committee. Now, we raised this matter as the African National Congress in one of our virtual meetings, and I think it's important to raise it even when all of us are here, so that it's understood that it's a matter of principle as opposed to some kind of witch hunt. Now, General Mkhwanazi has presented to us here and kept on making references to members of Parliament. But one of us has been specifically fingered out on the report. And I would imagine that if you ask me, it would be fair that the member who is being fingered out the way that has been done here today should equally at some point have an opportunity to state her side of the story on this matter. Now, I'm raising this matter, Chair, because this member is a member of this committee. And I think we need to help each other as committee members. As I said on that day, that it may very well be that it's not the majority of South Africans who are worried about the fact that some among us are implicated in some of these serious allegations. But the fact of the matter is that we have an obligation to strive to ensure that as much as possible we enjoy the confidence of the entirety of the South African population, including those that may be in the minds of others, a small minority that may be concerned about any of us being implicated in what is being discussed here. Now, Chair, I want to conclude by saying, therefore, in this context, I think we need to place it formally as the African National Congress that it is our considered view that the member concerned, Honorable Diana Kola-Barnett, and the party she represents must properly reflect on this reality and act in a manner that protects the integrity of this process and Parliament in general. Because it's our considered view that to proceed as if we have not had anything today. Now the general is before us and he has made a presentation. It will constitute a declaration of duty on our part as members of this committee. And we are convinced as the ANC that it cannot be allowed to proceed without any comment about what needs to be done. So we would like the DA and the member concerned, starting with the member, to consider withdrawing her membership from the committee to protect all of us. But we equally want to persuade the Democratic Alliance, which has got 87 members in this Parliament, that it can't just be about one member when the reputation of the committee in its entirety is at stake. So that is the first issue that I wanted to raise, Chair. The other issue, I don't know whether I want me to raise it here and now, or I must suggest it in the morning. It has to do with our thinking about how we should manage the proceedings tomorrow. If and when, as it was agreed, the proceedings are going to be entirely about what we as members of the committee are now asking the general. So you can guide me whether I should make that suggestion now, or you might have had something in your mind about how to handle that process, maybe now or in the morning.
Okay, let me hear the other two speakers. I will be making a decision whether I should rotate amongst members to hear what their views are. Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair, once again. I just want to concur with the Chief Whip of the largest party. I've said this before as well in our meeting. Before General Mkhwanazi gave us the evidence as well with us here, because we had this anyway. But we didn't say anything about it. We asked that the honorable member must recuse herself. Now, we are here today The general has given us a little bit of context about exactly what happened. And he said vividly that he doesn't want to go deeper. But he has a lot. If he's challenged, he will reveal more, which might not be for the benefit of this country. This ad hoc committee is not challenged by anybody in court. The Madanga Commission, as we speak, we've challenged it as Mkhonto Wesizwe Party. The appointment of the acting Minister of Police, the suspension of the suspension or special leave, which President Ramaphosa placed Mkhunu on leave, is still challenged. The Constitutional Court has referred us back to the High Court. And it's 50-50, anything can happen. Even though we know that the judiciary, I don't want to get to reveal more as well on that. But this committee, the ad hoc committee, is not in any court. And let's avoid that. Let the honorable member do the noble thing and recuse herself. The DA, as the chief whip of the largest party, has said they've got many members. They can nominate anyone. But for us to go and sit here, especially after this explosive revelation by General Mkhwanazi once again. My colleague earlier said that he doesn't want us to find ourselves at the end of this ad hoc committee. On the review, we are found wanting. So let's do the right thing.
Check, can I rise on a point of order?
Oh, okay.
General Mkhwanazi has led his evidence in chief. It's only fair that you close his evidence in chief and release him.
Please. Sure.
And raise these matters that you are raising.
It's just percent.
Because what does General Mkhwanazi have to do with this kind of discussion we're having? He has made his input.
Thank you,
He has told us he will give us more if we challenge him and all of that. His evidence in chief is done. Please release him if you want us to get involved in this kind of discussion. It's not done. That a witness gives evidence and then immediately a committee gets into a discussion as to how do we evaluate that evidence and take a decision. Where have you ever had that? We cannot convert this into a kangaroo court and be unfair to the witness. He has made his points. Please thank him and release him. And if the chief whip of the majority party wants us to remain, because there is an urgent matter, we remain and discuss it in public, not even in private. Have this discussion in public, but not in the middle of the evidence in chief of the general. Close the general's evidence in chief and let's have this discussion. We did not raise hands because we thought people are doing something else which has got to do with general. We are now on general. Whatever input you give when he has taken a stand, it must be directed to him. And anything outside that, now we are putting two people on the stand. General Mkhwanazi is still on the stand, and honorable member is in a way being put again on the stand. At the same time with General Mkhwanazi. General Mkhwanazi gave us what he needed to give us. It's up to us to take a decision after we released him and thank him. I think it's procedurally fair. Don't open a debate of complicated in the middle of an evidence in chief. Thanks, Chair.
No. Honorable, I noted, no, just hold. I will give you a chance to speak. I noted 3 hands. That is the hand of Honorable Ntuli and Honorable Skosana. The last person is Honorable Mwango. It may be unfair, Honorable Malema, if we release the general without knowing what Honorable Mwango wants to ask. And then we will then make a decision on the inputs of the two members. So let's give Honorable Mngango a chance. Maybe there are matters that he wants to clarify with the general. Yeah. Thank you for that understanding.
Well, thank
Honorable
you.
Mngango.
Thank you, Honorable
Madam
Chairperson.
Chairman, you are not right.
Good evening.
You are a bad
Well, on
chairperson.
reflection, I have actually decided that these matters that I wanted to raise can actually be raised, adequately tomorrow. So, therefore, I
Exactly my point. There's
wanted
still
to
a
withdraw
chance.
and actually thank the opportunity that you had given me. Thank you.
I'm not sure when
Your hand was up, Honorable Nova.
No, Chair, I was going to say that what has been raised by the Chief Whip of the ANC has actually provoked our thoughts. So we have a huge interest in what he has raised. And I was going to second the proposal that let's thank General Mkhwanazi
Thank you.
and left the committee members to deal with housekeeping issues, but in public, not privately. Thank you.
Yes. In fact, what the two of Malema and yourself is that we must release him as a witness. But as a South African, he still has a right, if he so wishes, to sit that side of the gallery. But what we do is to release him as a witness. Honorable members, on your behalf, let me take this opportunity and thank Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, the Provincial Commissioner of the SAPS in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, for the time that you created to be with us. Let me tell you, at some point, we discussed as a committee in your absence when you had the dilemma whether you must be here or you must be at the commission. And we went back to the committee, we gave them a report about the letter which you have written to us that you want to cooperate with the committee. Unfortunately, you find yourself in a situation where you can't divide yourself into two halves. One half be with the ad hoc committee and one half be with the commission. And we want to thank you from that moment up to the point where you came before our legal team to do consultations. You were here this morning when we started. We had our own incipient challenges, but you were patient with us. The committee sent me to come and meet with you to apologize for the mishaps that would have happened this morning, and I haven't had any misgivings or any qualms on your part, and I want to heartily, on behalf of this committee, thank you for your humility, the endurance that you have shown to stay the course here until the point where we are here. We are concluding the evidence that you have presented before us here. We hope to be with you again tomorrow so that you can come and have a field day with the members and whatever questions they may want to raise with you. And what we will do tomorrow is to ensure that the same atmosphere that we had today between you and the senior council should still prevail. The members have said it's their agreement that questions must be fully answered and satisfactorily. I can assure you there will not be any emotions all of us are about this country, South Africa, in which we all belong. And I hope that honorable members will have enough time to do reflections and come here tomorrow prepared to raise any issue that they feel is in the best interest of the people of South Africa. For that, I want to thank you so much for availing yourself. You are the head of the police services in that province, is the second largest province in the Republic. 1 minute away from that province is a concern in terms of spiraling crime statistics in the country, but you still gave yourself chance to be with us here because you feel that you can play a role in the renewal and ensuring the safety of the South African society. Lieutenant General, we have come to the end of today's proceedings with you as a witness. But like I've said, as a South African, you have that imprescriptible right to join fellow South Africans on the gallery in the event you may wish to follow the proceedings of the committee. We are resuming at 9 o'clock tomorrow at this venue, yes. So we want to thank you so much and all the best. Senior Counsel, we want to thank you. Look, it has been a marathon on your part. It has been one of those days, and I still want to repeat. The best cricketers can still be dismissed for ducks in some matches. But that does not take the quality away from that cricketer. If you are an accomplished batsman, you will always remain that. If you are one of the best bowlers, you will always remain that regardless of the moments, the low moments you would have encountered. I think all of us have learned. I did an interview during a dinner. I took responsibility on behalf of all of you. When they asked me, I said, I am the chairperson of this committee. I was supposed to have been the first person to see the word supplementary on the report. I did not want to pass the buck to anybody. It's my responsibility as the chair, and I take responsibility for whatever defects that could have been there on our statement. If there is any head that has to be chopped before anybody goes to any member of the committee, before they go to any of our staff, it's my head that must be on the block. This is it's how accountability is taken. So we want to thank you so much, and your team, very encouraging to see young South African females doing work for their country, and Lerato and Maria. I think there are lessons that you have learned. We will be very proud one day to meet you amongst the high-ranking legal personalities in this country. We learn from moments like this, and we become better. So, honorable members, I can see that there is nobody who has intention to leave this house. So we now go back to the issues that honorable members have raised. Number one, the chief whip is making a proposal here that let's allow the Democratic Alliance to go and make a reflection on the matter. And maybe the DA can come back tomorrow morning and report before the committee on how they feel about the matter. I'm trying to modify the proposal that he has made so that they think about it and come back and say, look, in the last meeting, when we concluded this, we gave an example of the pendulum. And when you listen to the presentation that has been made here, the pendulum is now skewed. It's no longer 60-40 or 50-50. It may be 100-0 or 99-0.1. The pendulum is now skewed. It has swung heavily. And the proposal is that let's allow them to go and make reflections and report tomorrow. Can I check with honorable members if they support this proposal? Honorable Nomvana.
Yeah, no, Chair. We want to put forward what we think can be the best solution. Okay. As the MK party. Like we said earlier, that we have an intention of deliberating on this issue, because even when we were discussing about it in our previous meeting, we had a very clear position on what must happen. And today, what we have been yearning for has been proven to be correct, because we made some glaring observations during the testimony of General Mkhwanazi. The member in question could not even hold herself. She was making reactions. She was throwing tantrums.
Yeah, but let's not cast aspersions.
No, I'm not casting aspersions.
I think what you
I'm sharing my observation, Chair. It's what transpired.
Yeah,
it's not an aspersion.
I request you with due respect.
It's my observation.
Yeah, let's go to the merits.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, but
that's where I'm going, Chairperson.
The reaction of the person cannot be a merit point. The merit points are the ones.
No, it is, Chair, because it borders on the integrity of this committee. The point that I want to make here is that her continued presence in this committee is a compromise to the entire committee. And it can never be a matter of choice for the DA. It's a matter of this committee, because the reputation that is going to be damaged is not a reputation of the DA, but the reputation of the ad hoc committee. Chairperson, all members that have been invited in this committee are members who have been invited on the basis of the statement that was made in a press briefing. Now today, a police officer with the constitutional responsibility and who has been testifying under oath has laid allegations against a member of this committee. These allegations have not just been laid by a person who's walking on the street, but by a police officer with powers to investigate under oath. So we cannot belittle them. We can't just treat them as a by-the-way issue. The position must be taken by this committee, Chair, that at first the DA must bring another person, failing which we enforce. We take a position as this committee. It can't be a matter of the DA, Chairperson, because the DA, if it had conscience, by now would not be discussing about this issue. They would have brought another person to say, to safeguard the integrity and the credibility of this committee. We are bringing another person until the name of the member in question is cleared. Well, members of the public are not going to have respect for this committee if ourselves are not respecting it. And we can't treat members of parliament, we can't give them a special treatment. If we invited members of the public on the basis of a statement that was made in a press briefing, why are we allowing members who have been implicated by a testimony under oath and by a police officer here to be part of this committee? Then that means we're not taking ourselves seriously. But if the committee decides to take a decision which is contrary to what we are advancing, Chairperson, then as the MK party, we are going to continue to make our position that we are not part of it. We are not part of that decision. We are not embracing it. We are not honoring it. We are not going to give any respect to a person who has been implicated by a police officer he must be treated equally with the members of the public. No special treatment must be given to members of parliament because they are members of parliament. Whereas in a statement given under oath, such a person will support the motion, but in supporting the motion was saying subsequently, if the DA does not take a decision, a decisive decision to recuse the member, the committee must have a position because this is a committee matter, not a DA matter. Thank you.
Honorable, okay, let's do this. Let me give Honorable Cameron first to speak and hear what they are saying. Maybe they can help us.
Chair, thank you. Chair, Honourable Novalo should know the rules, that it's a party matter, not a committee matter. The party will certainly discuss, but I can tell you now that from where we stand now, no one will recuse themselves. We all keep mentioning a constitutional democracy here, and we all keep citing the Constitution, and we keep hearing what would happen in a court of law. But now we're finding someone guilty without an opportunity for them to speak on their own behalf. I think it's utterly unfair.
No, Chair,
And I think that's not the direction we should be pushing in. So we're not going to debate it. We'll give feedback tomorrow. The point is we need to respect the institution.
Point of order, Chair. It's a procedural point.
We can't do this, honorable members.
Yeah, but it's a procedural point. The point of order is procedural.
Chief Whip,
Yes.
I agree with you. Can we allow the members to conclude and please?
Chair, I would respect that, but the point of order doesn't apply when the person on the scene is done. So you are saying I must abandon it. So out of respect for your abandon, but I can't go back to it when it's no longer talking.
Yeah, I will still rule the person out of order if your point of order holds. But it's fine. Let's do this. Let me sustain the point of order and allow you to go ahead. I will come back to you, Honorable Cameron. Chief Whip.
Yeah, Chair, procedurally, when a person is out of order, the requirement is that you must make the call here and then. The point I'm making here is that we have never found anybody guilty. The accusation is being leveled against the point we made, that we are acting in violation of the Constitution by condemning anybody guilty of anything. We have not done that. All we have called for is that can we find a way in which the legitimacy and the integrity of this committee, a parliament that has been challenged in public, that people were saying, why did you keep quiet from March? If we have a possibility now as a small committee of parliament to protect our own integrity and that of the institution we represent, I think we have an obligation to raise that matter. And to raise that matter can never constitute a finding guilty to any member of this committee. Thanks.
Look, the point of order is sustained. I think, Honorable Cameron, even before you come to speak, from where I'm sitting, I would want you to have an understanding of the principled issues that the members are raising. For sure, you might have heard me trying to intervene to say, the approach dealing with the matter, we must not be ad hominem. Let's not attack the person, but deal with the merits of the case. There is a presentation that the general has made here. If we were going to speak, let's forget about the name of Honorable Dianokola Barnard. And that's why you heard when Honorable Nomvalo was speaking, I said, even if she might have reacted, let's think the reaction away from the facts and face the facts that have been made here, that if from the last meeting we were at 60-40 or at 50-50, we are now at 100-0 or at 95-5. The pendulum has swung and has swung heavily. And that is why there is a proposal here that, and I think the members are making this proposal out of euphemism to say, go and look at this matter and come back tomorrow and say, here we stand as the Democratic Alliance, as one of the parties in a multi-party democracy, South Africa. And this is what we have said we want to be to the people of South Africa. And this is how we are being viewed. And in the light of this, as the DA, we are coming before you as a committee of parliament to say, this is how we're dealing with the matter of our member. Because what is important here is not the participation of the member. What is important is the integrity of the committee. The committee in which the member must serve must enjoy precedence over party preferences or party dispositions. And I think this is the manner in which we have to deal with this matter. We want to give that opportunity to go and make reflections without being influenced by any one of us here. Yourselves as a party, in a multi-party democratic spectrum in South Africa, you make reflections before we start in the morning. You can just whisper to the chair and say, look, Chairperson, we reflected. This is how, as the DA, we think we must resolve the matter. Because now, as it stands like this, the member must sit here. The member must request the committee to be a witness before the 17th of October to say there are serious allegations which have been made against me. And I think as a leader, the bar of leadership is very high. There are no allegations which can be made against you and you just ignore them. They will evaporate like a dew. The member would have to request before the committee, I want to sit where Mkhwanazi was sitting, and clear my name. But you can imagine sitting this side 1 minute and then the second minute this side. If the committee has to make a decision about the truthfulness of the allegations, how does the committee arrive at that decision when the member sits in the committee one day, the other day sits on the side of the witness? So that is why I want you as the DA to understand
on a point of order, Chair.
Yeah, I'm coming to you, Chair.
It's a procedural point.
Okay, sustained.
The Chief Whip called order, and when he called order, there was a speaker on the floor. All you needed to do was to sustain that order and refer back to the Honorable Cameron to conclude whatever anyone needed to say. And then allow us to contribute to the matter, and you do exactly what you are doing. So it can't be that in the middle of the point of order, whether you sustain it or not, and then people are being told what needs to happen and all of that, even before their side of the story is heard. He was still in the floor. Please allow him to finish.
I agree with you that I must give him a chance. I was laying principles here to say the reason why the Chief Whip called a point of order was because the Honorable Member was doing exactly what Honorable Nomvalo has done. And Honorable Nomvalo will remember very well, I even said, let's not cast aspersions. But Honorable Cameron did the same things. And that is why we must lay principle to say, even when we give him a chance to speak, let's help each other to arrive at a decision that best serves the interest of the committee. Honorable Cameron.
May I speak, Chair?
Yes.
Chair, so I just wanted to conclude in saying that we are going to engage, as I said at the beginning. But I must reiterate that no one is going to recuse themselves tonight. We will give feedback tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we must be very careful. I heard the statement that the Chief Whip said about March, being quiet since March. It's again the same type of allegation where it's clear to me that the transcript in this very file wasn't read properly. If evidence isn't considered, a decision can't be made. So we can't be a kangaroo court ourselves, but nevertheless, we will give feedback tomorrow. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Can I have everybody who wants to speak raising hands so that I know that the list that I take is the last list of hands? Honorable Sols, Honorable Malema, Honorable Shigelen, Honorable Skosana, Honorable Ngola, Honorable Sangola. But before I give you, wait. Before I give you a chance to speak, I see there are alternate members who are raising hands. Can I check amongst the alternates, except I saw your hand, Honorable James, Honorable Shongwe. Can I check amongst all of you, Honorable Vessels, Honorable Mattheys, Honorable Sokanile? Is there any one of you, the alternates, who want to speak? Oh, okay, I'm not seeing any one of you who wants to speak. Let me start by taking Honorable James and Honorable Shongwe first, and then I will come to the full members.
Sorry, Chair, can I call a point of order on procedure, even before they come in?
Yeah.
It's very procedural.
Yeah.
No, Chair, I just want clarity on the inputs that you are calling for now, because we've had a response from the DA and they said they are going to come back tomorrow. Are we seeking to reverse that? Because the DA, based on your summary, has given us a way forward. If you could just give guidance.
No, the DA has responded. I want to hear what are your replies to the summary of the DA. Yes, I think it's fair, because if they say, no, we will give you a report tomorrow, then I say the meeting is dismissed. I don't know whether that will sit well with yourselves. Yeah, so, Honorable James.
Thank you so much, Chair. I want to say sitting is very frustrating, especially at this hour, considering that this matter was belabored extensively in 2 of our previous virtual meetings. We even sort of concluded at the one meeting and said, we will pick up on this exact matter at the next meeting, which we did. We then again deliberated on it. I remember saying that you cannot have a striker and a goalkeeper at the same time. And that is how we ended that meeting. We're also saying here today that the decisions of this committee then lies with the DA, and we then forfeit the terms of reference that we all gave submissions into. The terms of reference are quite clear, where it says that anyone mentioned, and I even, when I mentioned this in our previous meeting, I say this with great sensitivity towards the member. And we practice caution when we're saying this, because somehow there's a narrative or there's a feel that when someone is mentioned, there's an assumption that that person is guilty. It is not that. When someone is mentioned, in fact, if anything, that is an opportunity for that person to then present its case to this committee. And we said, in all honesty, we are not here to please ourselves. We are not here to rub each other's egos up. We are here to serve South Africans and do what's in the best interest of South Africans and garner, if anything, you started off and you said, let us work towards garnering public trust. So how do we garner public trust when we have a striker and a goalkeeper? How do we do that? So, as actually say, we make a submission here, Chair, that in all honesty, the DA needs to field someone else, temporarily even, until the member has been cleared. It's that simple. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Shongwe.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu Sihlalo. Sihlalo sami soyobatolikela.
But you know, I'm exercising the discretion.
I know.
Reasonable.
That's why ngibonga kakhulu. Chair, NSM 8 is a letter of NTTPK from a minister. You go to NSM 13, 14 and 15. They are not different compared to what General Mkhwanazi has given us as evidence under oath here. 13, 14 and 15 speaks about Honorable Paaliament. Now, Chair, from day one, you've been summarizing the very correct thing you've been saying, that the member is implicated. If the member is foresaid to wanting a chance to clear her name, you can only clear your name if you are implicated, Chair. So why, Chair, in your legacy committee, you'll only have one decision that you make clear? You only make one decision very clear of alternate not speaking. But where you are supposed to take a proper decision, which has evidence, you want to drag us all as if we are failing to say, Lento le is wrong. Chair, this is completely wrong. She is implicated. We can't change that. Please do not drag us with that. Please do not drag us lapo. If you are failing to make that decision, which you've always summarized correctly all the time, Chair, siyacela, Chair.
Why do you look at the chair? Because the matter is on.
The reason I'm looking at that, Chair,
the matter is on 13, 14, and 15, which
exactly, Chair. You just said it clearly and nicely that for her to clean up her name, she has to sit there. So let's wait for that chat. And Chair, we can't be bullied by DA. Tina, we don't owe DA anything. It can't be. It looks as if, Chair, we are so scared of DA that once we take a decision of removing a member of DA, we're not going to get our salaries on of the month.
Chair, on a point of order,
Can't
please.
put us there.
Sorry, on a point of order, Chair.
You will get your chance. Don't worry. You can't be bullied here now.
I'm asking for a point of order, please, Chair. It's not necessary to be rude.
There is a point of order. Let's hear it.
Chairperson, we've said we will come back tomorrow with an answer, clearly. But Chair, we're not here for the Honourable Member Diane Kohler-Barnard. The reason why we're sitting in this room is because of General Mkhwanazi. That's why we're here. And the press conference that he held on the 6th of July. On that date, he did not make any mention of the member of the Democratic Alliance. That only came out at a later stage, Chair. It has nothing actually to do with what is going on here at the moment. So I think, as we've said, we will come back tomorrow morning. But the other parties that are now trying to bash the DA and badmouth us and saying all the things they're saying, it's not necessary, Chair. If you would like to, we can ask the Honourable Kohler-Barnard then to go and present herself tomorrow morning first, if that would make everybody happy. I don't think she would even have a problem with that. But the fact is, we are here for what happened on the 6th of July, and the Honourable Member was not discussed on that day. Thank you, Chair.
It was a point of order, Chair. I don't know whether it is a point of order. But can I continue, Chair? Can I continue, Chair?
You know, honourable members, you need to help us with the contributions that you make in the meeting. Do you think we can wake up tomorrow and say, Honourable Barnard must sit here? It's not how we do things. Were you done, Honourable Nomvalo? Honourable Shong?
No, I wasn't, Chair. I was disturbed.
Yeah, you are left with 1 minute because you are betting on discretionary time.
Okay, Chair. Chair, I
I think let me finish there, Chair. Ngibonga for your time, but Chair, please don't put us in a position where we are seen, all of us, as if we are all wanting to protect the DA and its wrong decision. And we can't be asking the DA to decide on themselves and doing it wrong. It is your powers, Chair, that you must decide this is wrong, this is how it's going to go. If you can decide on alternate, please, Chair, this one has evidence. Alternate has no evidence. There's evidence here, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Sols. And then the next is you, Honorable Sols. Yeah, it's your time now.
Honorable Chair, let me remind the committee, we discussed this matter, and I want to remind the committee that I said in the last meeting that we criticized my president, David.M, but he took a stance of principle when there was just allegations of my deputy president, Honorable Kenny Cornell. He was removed as a matter of principle. An investigation was done, cleared. Now he's back in office. You can question the investigation, that's yours, but the principle, and we were calling for that. We agreed in that meeting that what we will do as a committee, we will stay that discussion. We will wait until General Mkhwanazi comes and gives testimony. Once he gives testimony on the record, under oath, we will then decide. Here we are. General Mkhwanazi has made the point. It's incorrect to say that we are here just to focus on what General Mkhwanazi has said on the 1st of July. That's incorrect. We are here now, officially. We're not just hearing the statements he made on 5th July. We are now interrogating the witness statement that he put before us. And when we look at the witness statement put before us, there are two things that's important that we must note. Number one, Honorable Barnard is officially now implicated under oath. It is correct that Honorable Barnard must receive an opportunity for her to answer, and that's what we're calling for, that she must have an opportunity to fairly answer the allegation. The second thing, from pages 199 in the witness statement, right up to 218, page 218, close to 19 pages, literally has the content of almost everything that that General Mkhwanazi has said here. And that refers to the 5th of March. In the 5th of March meeting, chaired by Honorable Ian Cameron, General Mkhwanazi said the very same thing he said here. It's here on the witness statement, on the pages I've just quoted. He stated it. The question now hangs, what happened after the chairperson heard this very same thing? What was done? That question is hanging. The chairperson is also implicated. But what has happened? We now need to ask that question. So I put it to you, Chair. Both Honorable Barnard and Honorable Ian Cameron must recuse themselves and answer to this. Right? We must not give an option for that to happen. It's a matter of principle. For us to sit here and say, we're going to wait for the DA to come back and say to us whether they want to do it or not, is not correct. We must take a principled stance that because you are mentioned in a witness statement and we are tasked with the responsibility to test the veracity of the allegation, here's the allegation before us, we must therefore hear them as witnesses. They must come and respond. But they can't sit on the committee until that has happened. I conclude, Chair, by repeating, as a matter of principle, both Honorable Ian Camera, in his capacity as chairperson of the Committee of Police, where these things was mentioned, and nothing was done, and that's the reason why there was a press briefing, he has to answer to that. And Honorable Barnard, because she is implicated, must also do so. And that must be decided now, not tomorrow. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Malema.
No, thanks, Chair. Comrades, especially Honorable Nomval, we must refuse the temptation to want to make a determination of representatives of other parties as people who don't come from those parties. And as MK, we should actually be even more concerned because we are sitting in the JSC today without Honorable Trope, which they wanted to dictate to you that you must remove him and all manner of things. And you refused. Until now, we are short of a member of parliament in the JSC because you refused that no one is going to dictate to you as to who you are sending to the JSC. All I'm saying is, having experience of the opposition parties, it's well and good and nice today that you join forces with them. Tomorrow they're going to remove you. They're going to want to determine to a party who must be sent from your party. We shouldn't agree to that. We shouldn't agree to that. You have expressed your views, and I've always maintained, and many of you deliberately decide to misinterpret me, that the recusal, it's a personal decision. You have raised issues. The DA has listened to you. She has heard you. Whether she takes a decision to stay or not to stay, the public will take a decision about that. It's her decision. But to sit here...
Point of order, Chair. Procedural.
Try me. I don't think you want to sleep. Try.
Can we take the point of, but before we take the point of order, Honorable Malema, when you say try me?
No, again, I'm on the floor. You didn't say I must stop. So I'm making my points. Try me, boys. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about any other thing. I'm just saying.
Chair, it still remains a procedural issue.
Yeah. No. I'm speaking until you tell me to stop. When a point of order is called, only you can tell me to stop.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the point of
Okay, thank you. I'll pause.
But I want that try me.
Yeah, Chair. Recusal is not a personal matter. It is a matter of a substantial conflict. And so we must just clear that up. It's not personal. It's procedural to say that we must be clear. It's a substantial conflict.
Yeah, but Honorable Salsa, you are debating the matter now. I thought you were raising a point of order, but if you debate the matter...
I'm raising a point of order. It's misleading to say that we are trying to do something that's a personal matter and we're trying to enforce something that's not procedural. We are raising a point that there's a substantial conflict and procedure holds. You must recuse yourself.
I don't think there is disagreement on the matter of recusal. You are arguing for recusal, and he is explaining how recusal should happen. May you proceed, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. So, it can't be correct that you want to determine a membership and representative of certain political parties in this committee, and I've said to you, we do not constitute ourselves. Now calls are being made for you to remove people from this committee who have been sent, correctly so, by their parties. it might be nice today, but you're establishing a precedent that is not sustainable, Honorable Nomva. You ought to be it doesn't matter how you feel at the time. You ought to look at the future and turn tables as to what's going to happen if this happens to us one day. I know how these chaps operate. Extremely unprincipled. Today they want to appear like they've got principle on recusal and all manner of things. Again, to say what General has presented here must be accepted as a gospel truth because it was said by a police officer under oath, then we must take what he says about Honorable Mkhunu because it's been said under oath. And why should we proceed about any other thing? Because everything General said here, a police officer under oath is honest truth, nothing else but the truth, and no one can question it. It's unprincipled. General has presented what he presented. We are going to question him tomorrow. We're still going to put whatever he put before us to test. So I'm pleading with you, Honorable Chairperson, don't fall into a temptation to do things that are unconstitutional. This is a proportional democracy, proportional representatives, and we are here constituted by how we are represented in Parliament, and our parties shall decide on those things. Members have raised their issues, the public has listened to them, honorable members had them, the party she represents have had them, and she will make that determination tomorrow. And it's as simple as that. No chairperson has got the right to choose who sits in this committee, who doesn't sit in this committee. Last point. All of you who are making the recusal point, why is none of you not quoting the rules of Parliament on recusal? And why is none of you quoting the terms of reference on recusal? Which I'm taking now. It's not for the first time. That's me. I took this stand even on Honorable Hlophe. I said, you are not going to do that. If he's a member of Parliament, he must enjoy all of those privileges until a certain decision is arrived at by the courts of this country. So today, the tables are not on your side. You say, no, you can determine who must be sent from the other party. But when it comes to your party, no one can determine who you must send. So, comrades, be principled. This road is still long. We just finished a year. We have another 4 years to go. With these honorable members that are here with you, behaving like they are raising principal matters when they are setting a precedence for you.